Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. Today we finally have some hardcore details about the upcoming story mode number 2 for Guilty Gear Strive. First up, and we'll just throw it out there, the release date. As per Arc System Works directly, the second story mode will release April 29th. So later this month, and yes, it is for Season Pass holders. A nice little bonus to end off the Season Pass after we got our last character. But that's not all. We already knew it was coming sometime this month, and of course, they're dragging out to the exact end of the month, but whatever. But we now know some more details. And perhaps most importantly, we're getting a hint at who is one of the DLC characters coming in Season 2 of Guilty Gear Strive. So we do have a little bit of a plot synopsis for the second story mode. Another story provides the player a full look behind the curtain from another perspective, featuring appearances from many characters who did not show up in the main story, including Ramlethal, May, and Baiken. While the incident in America triggered by Aska Arkroyd's surrender unfolds, Special Brigade Commander Ramlethal Valentine heads to the outskirts of Illyria after receiving a report of an emergency. There, she finds a girl who closely resembles Bedman, who once worked with the Universal Will against mankind. So a few things to note before we get to the meat of it, I suppose. One, hey, turns out Ramlethal just got a promotion. I guess maybe this finally explains her new look and her fancy new hat. Also, this is occurring during the main plot. So while Happy Chaos is up in the White House and Soul and crew are doing their whole thing, this is happening adjacent to that plot. Not directly afterwards, because we do know, spoiler, Happy Chaos survives the end of the main story mode, so perhaps there's a Season 2 story mode, and this is just a filler to bridge the gap. Put in some people who did not appear in the first story mode, and maybe make some connections that were not so obvious in the first story mode. But yeah, the big thing here, the person who closely resembles Bedman, this is Delilah, Bedman's sister. And before we talk any plot, any lore, any of that stuff here, the fact that she has a fully unique model, a very high detail model it would look like, tells me that she is one of the 4 DLC characters of Season 2 Guilty Gear Strive. Unless you're NetherRealm Studios, it costs too much money to make high quality models and then not use them more down the line, right? So I put this at well over 90% chance she is going to be one of the playable characters in Season 2 of Guilty Gear Strive. And good on it, because if she plays anything like Bedman, Bedman is one of the most unique characters in fighting game history, right? Maybe you didn't like his personality or, his look or whatever, his aesthetic, but the way he played was completely amazing. So bringing that back is definitely a plus in my book. So in case you happen to be unaware, Bedman is not returning to the franchise, barring some manner of Deus Ex Machina anyways. During the Exard Revelator storyline, he kind of got whooped real bad by Venom and Robokai, to the point where they finally took him out of his dream-like state, which gave him a lot of his powers. He's awake, and once he's awake, he gets betrayed by the Universal Will, because Bedman is one of the bigger villains in Exard and Exard Revelator. Tries to go out in a flash of glory, taking out the Universal Will, but it doesn't really work out that way, and he just kind of turns to stone and just shatters and breaks. So Bedman's dreams of the absolute world, his version of it, they all crumble to so much dust. And it was at this point, this was many years ago in Exard Revelator, we get our first look at Delilah, well, her feet anyways, right? So she's been primed to be put in for a very long time. And even in more recent times, not even like the years old story mode, right? Baiken, she made her debut to much fanfare, and a portion of Baiken's big reveal was, well, keyed into Delilah.
お前を前にすると立ち止まったはずの俺が追いついてくるみたいでな。だが大丈夫だ、ディライラ。大丈夫。
So in the long term and in the recent term, roads have been leading to Delilah. Once again, very much pointing to the fact that she will more than likely be a playable character. We can see here too, this is a shot from the press release of the second story mode, that Bedman's bed mech has very much survived. In the older games, it was basically hinted at that it's like kind of mostly indestructible. It can survive direct hits from full power Slayer after all, right? So it survived Who knows why it's showing up, probably coming to Delilah so she can use it in some way, shape, or form. That's what I would infer anyways. You can see here as well, Baiken is going directly after it. So Baiken is either here to protect Delilah or take out Delilah. She does say in that trailer snippet, she looks like she's been trailed by a past she thought she left behind. And old Baiken was a very angry woman. So maybe Delilah is full of rage or maybe she's chill. I don't know. We can't really tell until we get the story mode, I suppose. They did leave us with just a little bit of a blurb on Delilah. A young girl who has awoken from a long slumber. She's lived within a dream since her birth due to a unique condition caused by her brain's inability to withstand her exceptional intellect and abilities. She's literally too smart to be alive. As she's only just woken up, she doesn't have a solid grasp on common sense or social skills, aka comedy will ensue. Her one and only motive is to get revenge for her brother's life. So at the bare minimum, probably expect her to be aggressive at the start of the story mode. But all in all, this is our big farewell to Season 1 of Guilty Gear Strive, and more than likely in a lot of ways a herald of Season 2 of Guilty Gear Strive. Delilah is likely to be one of the 4 DLC characters. Also, if you follow the leaks, we probably know who at least 2 more are. I'll post that link at the end of this video if you want to check it out, or if not, if you want no spoilers, don't worry about it. But all I can really say is watch out for Delilah in the story mode. She's probably one of the characters, and also keep an eye out for other characters in story mode. Anyone who has a big new fancy model has a very strong chance of being a playable character. From Exard and Revelator, one of the easiest ways to tell who was going to be DLC in the future was just watching the story mode, and I bet this one is going to prove much the same. Also, as a quick note before we end up here, it looks like Delilah is kind of like, the saggy eyes, always tired archetype of anime character, and I always think that kind of character is pretty cool. But anyways, my friends, we're at the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Guilty Gear.